written for Washington's birthday, and it's about fighting for freedom on Christmas. When these guys got together, they wrote the Declaration of Independence. And the British Empire didn't roll over and say, oh, okay, and just let the United States of America do whatever they wanted. Just because we signed a paper saying we choose to be free from Britain, the paper doesn't mean anything to the British Empire. So they were ready to fight to keep their hold over us any way they could. So yeah, Britain came to fight. But since they are an empire and all, they'd employ some of the Hessians from Germany to do some of the fighting for them so they could cover all of their bases. After months fighting in 1776, George Washington's Continental Army was at a loss. It was approaching Christmas, and they stayed camped at the shores of the Delaware River in Pennsylvania. Hessians, German mercenary soldiers from the British Empire, were all across the river in Trenton, New Jersey, which stopped the Americans, who had now run out of munitions. So on December 23rd, Washington brings over Hugh Mercer, a Scottish general, and Captain Andrew Hamilton. And all he says is that the Hessians are going to be so drunk and reveling on Christmas Day that this will be our chance that we could attack when they least expect it. But Mercer explained, wait, we don't have any munitions, which is when Hamilton said, that's when we attack them to get their munitions. And so Washington thinks, we have 5,000 troops. We'll cross the Delaware, that's 300 yards, and we'll get through the ice and the snow, and we'll fight the British, and they'll only have their hired German army. Christmas rolls around, and the Hessians were celebrating Christmas, and that is when separate U.S. ships set sail. They got stuck on, the ones that were stuck on Mercer's ship think, wait, there's just too much snow, let's go back. And all Hamilton would think is that we have to help Washington, even though there are others on the ship that wanted to balk and move. They were all saying, there's just too much snow, there's too much ice, it's just way too cold. George Washington could only press and stress to everyone that we are crossing the Delaware River. And there was no arguing with him when he had made his choice. And so people, you might even remember seeing that painting of it, but it was way more grimy. It was much more grimy and dirtier than that painting could ever reflect. I mean, there were 60, 70 mile per hour winds. Icicles were hitting their boat, which was made of cheap pine and probably barely holding up. And some of the men were even using socks, wool socks, towels wrapped around their feet because they had no shoes. So the Continental Army fought the ice and the snow to cross 300 yards of water to make it over the Delaware River. But when they crossed, the sun was already rising. They knew that they were late, but the deadline was just something that was set in their own minds. They had actually survived this hellish situation. So they actually could get across, and all they could think was, let's do this. Which is when they walked to Fort Trenton, and they caught the entire Hessian Empire completely off guard. Washington ended up catching over 1,000 Hessians, and only 4 Continental Army troops died. Then they look back, they think, oh, they got all these munitions, but as an added bonus, they found that in a corner there was a stash of rum. Added bonus indeed, they thought, so they got really, really drunk on rum before taking their Hessian prisoners. They went back across the Delaware River and they were all falling over drunk. I mean, falling out of the boat drunk. I mean, so drunk that they crossed for the Continental Army being all warm and everything when they're crossing, there's all the snow, they're falling in. Because people thought in the Continental Army that even if they were drunk, we were fighting for freedom, for their ice-filled escapades. And it took so much for their first major victory in battle, and to battle for their country. Their country. He would later lead this as their first president, a man who is now emblazoned on our dollar bill still. And now we give so much credit to anyone elected as president. But think of the battles George Washington had to fight to get to that point, which was only the beginning, in that it was the beginning of everything that would define not only George Washington, but also that he was a fighter and that he was a leader. And that is what defined our nation. On Christmas, I have to do this song, and John is going to do this with me, and I'm double plus thrilled for it. And it is a song that was originally in the 1980s by Wham, but it is called Last Christmas, and so I'm going to sing it for you. And thank you, John, because you're awesome. Do you read that? You're good. I don't know what to say. He's like, I don't get it.
I figured I'd stick my cheat sheets down there just with this.
Okay. So this is Last Christmas. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Once bitten and twice shy, I keep my distance, but you still catch my eye. Tell me, baby, do you recognize me? Well, it's been a year, it doesn't surprise me. Happy Christmas. I wrapped it up and sent it with a note saying I love you, I meant it. Now I know what a fool I've been, but if you kissed me now, I know you'd fool me again. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Oh, oh, what a baby. A crowded room, friends with tired eyes. I'm hiding from you and your soul eyes. My God, I thought you were someone to rely on. Me, I guess I was a shoulder to cry on. A face on a lover with a fire in his heart. A man undercover, but you tore me apart. Ooh, now I found a real love, you'll never fool me again. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but you gave me away. I'll give it to someone special, special.
Peace on a lover with the fire in his heart.
I gave you my heart. Maybe next year I'll give it to someone. I'll give it to someone special, special. Someone. I'll give it to someone, I'll give it to someone now. I thought you were here to stay.
I'll give it to someone.
How can you love me for a day? I'll give it to someone, I'll give it to someone special, who'll give me something in return. Hold my heart and watch it burn. I thought you were someone special. I gave you my heart.
I'll give it to someone. I'll give it to someone.
I'll give it to someone. I'll give it to someone. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, and you gave me away. I'll give it to someone, I'll give it to someone. La 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 the next person who's here, who is Janya. Give it over, John. And I get to play backup.
So Janet told me I need to have more migraines because apparently I get creative in the middle of a migraine.
Oh, jeez.
It's amazing. It senses to me after having a migraine.
Yeah, it's called It Wasn't My Intent. I'm sorry. It wasn't my intent. It was hanging there on my shirt, you know, right at the top of the shoulder, where the sleeve attaches to the rest of the shirt. I know I should have known better. Mother always told me not to pull on these strings. That I should cut these strings because pulling on them could be bad. You see, I was busy answering prayers and I kept seeing it there in the corner of my eye. It was so annoying, so I reached up with my left hand and pulled. I'm sorry. It wasn't my intent. I pulled on a string and unraveled the fabric of space-time. At first, I didn't realize what was happening. Everything fell out of place, almost right, but not quite. You know that feeling, like a dream, or rather, an hallucination. I pulled on a string and unraveled the fabric of space-time. There was an immense brightness, like the one so many years ago when I created this universe. It was only then when I realized what I had done. I pulled on a string and unraveled the fabric of space-time. Now I sit here alone with my thoughts. I should have listened to my mother. I should have cut that string with some scissors. She always said that a string could be recycled into another universe once I collected enough of them. I pulled on a string and unraveled the fabric of space-time. I pulled on a string and unraveled the fabric of space-time. I pulled on a string and unraveled, alone, without even walls to close in on it.